You wake at 3:30 in the morning because the cat in the alley is awake before you. There was a tremor in the night. You felt it through the wall. Vibia said, "The earth talks in this town. She is from Salerno. They talk about earth differently there. You do not need a candle to find your apron. Your hands have done this for 11 years, since you were 17, and your father first let you knead alone. It is the 24th of August. The mountain to the north has not erupted in the memory of anyone alive. And you do not know it is a mountain that can erupt. The bakery is below the bedroom. Vibia is still asleep. Lalage is curled at her side, the small one with the dark eyes, 8 years old this October. You go down the stone steps in bare feet because the leather of your sandals is stiff in the cold. You light the oil lamp from last night's embers. The flour is in the corner, 3 sacks from the farm at Bosco Real. You measure 6 modii into the kneading trough and pour in warm water from the cistern jar. You knead alone for an hour. The dough comes together, sticky first, then smooth, then alive. You divide it into balls and press your stamp into each one. 11 years, and your stamp still says, Cellaris Q, Grani Veri Ser. You are technically Cella, slave of Quintus Granius Verus. The town calls you Modestus, because your father was Modestus and his father before him. Stella the donkey is in the alley behind the bakery. She is grey, almost white. She has been turning the mola, the great stone millstone, every morning of your life. You walk her in. She knows. She begins to walk before you tie the harness. By 5 o'clock, the first loaves are in the oven. The panis quadratus, round, flat, scored into 8 segments so any man at the table can break it without a knife. 81 loaves this morning. 12 dozen and 1 because the magistrate's wife always asks for an extra. The sun comes up behind the Vesuvius. The mountain has been there since before Romulus. Stella has slowed at the mola. You give her water from the jar. She drinks without lifting her head. The first customer is a woman buying bread for her household, then 2 men from the laundry, then Granius himself, your master, wrapped in a saffron toga. He says, "Modestus, did you feel the shakes last night?" You say yes. He frowns. He says the well by his garden tasted strange this morning. Sulphur, he says. He buys 6 loaves and goes to the forum. By 10 the bakery smells of yeast and pine wood and Stella's tired body. Vibia comes down with Lalage. The child sits on the bench eating a heel of bread. She is missing 2 teeth in front. You tell her again, chew slowly. She rolls her eyes, the way her mother does. At 13, you don't know it is 13 exactly. You know because the sun is at the southern wall and the bread for noon market is just out of the oven. The sound starts. A low roar, not a shake this time. A noise that is also a feeling in your chest. You go to the door. The Vesuvius is gone. Where the mountain was, there is a column of black and white. Climbing. Climbing. Higher than anything has ever been. The top of it spreads outward like a tree. The wind takes the edge of it east, away from you, but the body of it leans now, leans toward the city. People come out into Via dell'Abbondanza. Some of them shout, most of them stare. Stella in the back begins to bray. Lalage runs to you and puts her face into your apron. You feel her shaking. Vibia says, "We should go to your brother in New Syria." You say yes. You start to gather things. Bread, an oil jar, the small purse with the silver, the toga your father wore, Lalage's wooden doll. The first stones fall while you are tying the bundle. Pumice, light, hot, falling like white rain on the roof tiles. Some land in the courtyard. You pick one up. It does not burn, but it is warm and porous and unnatural. You step into the street. The street is full of people you have sold bread to. The man from the laundry runs past without seeing you. The magistrate's wife, the one who always asks for an extra loaf, is on her knees beside a fallen basket, picking up bread that no one will eat. A horse rears and throws its rider. The pumice falls thicker every minute. You cover Lalage's head with your apron and pull Vibia by the wrist. You look back once at the bakery door. Stella is still inside. You make it as far as the Porta Marina, where the road goes down toward the port. You can see the sea. You can see ships trying to come in. You can also see the wind. The column above is leaning, and the ash is falling now, grey and hot. Not stones, but ash, blanketing the roofs you can see from the high point of the road. A roof collapses 3 houses ahead. You stop. Vibia is coughing. Lalage cannot breathe through the apron. You think your father's saying, never run from a roof while another roof is falling. You turn around. You go back. The bakery is half full of ash by the time you reach it. The oven is still hot. You take the bread from the front. You set it on the stone counter and cover it with a cloth. The bread in the oven. You cannot get it out. The door is jammed by ash blown in from the courtyard. You close the iron oven door. You think at least the bread inside is safe. At least the bread inside will keep. Stella has stopped braying. She is leaning against the molar. You go to her. You put your hand on her flank. You leave it there. You take Vibia and Lalage upstairs because the dust is worse on the ground floor. You sit on the bedroom floor. Vibia is praying. To Vesta, to the household lares, to anything. Lalage is in your arms. She is not crying anymore. She is too tired. You hear the rain of pumice slow by midnight. The roof has held. You think, you actually think, you might have made it. Then the sound comes. It is not a sound like the first one. It is faster. A wave, you feel it in your chest before you hear it in your ears. A wave of heat coming from the north. Coming from the mountain, coming through the streets. You hold Lalage tighter. Vibia is holding you. You do not have time to say anything that matters. 1683 years pass. A man named Giuseppe Fiorelli pours plaster into a cavity in the ash near a bakery on Via dell'Abbondanza. The cavity is shaped like a donkey. The donkey is standing, leaning, exactly as Stella was leaning the moment the surge took her. Other men open the oven. Inside they find 81 round loaves of panis quadratus, blackened but whole, scored into 8 segments. One of them carries a stamp, Cellaris Q, Grani Veri Sir. 2,000 years from now, the loaf with your stamp will sit behind glass in Naples. Someone will read the label. Someone will think about hands. The bread keeps the shape of your hands. Stella keeps her position. Lalage keeps your arms around her, in the plaster, in the dark, where they came back to find you. Everything you did that morning, the kneading, the lighting, the talking, the chewing slow. Everything you did that morning was the last time anyone would do it that way, in that house, on that street, in that city. The mountain forgot. The bread did not.